Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. I have my crystal ball off to the side, so I will be scrying throughout this message. If you're new to my channel, my readings are a little different, and if you're returning, welcome back. You know how we do if it doesn't resonate with you. If you're forcing the story to fit, arguing with it in any way, just leave it behind for the people who it's meant for. So let's go ahead and let's begin. Taking a step aside. And allowing spirit to pass through me. Opening up to receive information. Okay, I'm seeing, if you live here in the US, you'll know what I'm talking about. We have these little flags that they'll mark out certain electrical lines and plumbing pipes and stuff in neighborhoods. I'm seeing one of those. I'm seeing this flag like kind of flapping in the wind. And so there's something about a direction. We don't know what direction things are about to move in. It's up in the air. We're in a moment where it almost feels like a nexus point, like different things in our life, no matter what direction we were going to take, it was always going to wind up here. And now from this place, it could wind up anywhere. It could go in any direction. And so there's a little bit of confusion. It's like a fated moment. That's definitely how this feels. It feels a little bit like, and I'm going to say fated, it feels like something like our actions, our beliefs, our decisions, our indecisions all led us here. And it's led us into this pocket moment where there's a lesson here to be learned. We may not be viewing it that way because it may be a situation that does feel a little difficult. You know, last week I got a couple of messages that were really about looking at the subtext of a situation. And I feel that this message is kind of similar. There is something going on energetically that is the point of whatever it is that's currently taking place. And maybe you resonated with those readings last week, and this is just diving into a deeper layer of that. Maybe last week's readings didn't resonate with you, and this is this one will, right? I don't know if this is for kind of the same collective. Sometimes I'll be given like a flavor that tells me that it is, and this one's not necessarily like this. This is kind of an open energy. It feels like, you know, there's a little bit of this learning to calibrate ourselves so that we understand when the appropriate time to take action and the appropriate time for inaction is. It feels like this is directly related to some sort of control issue. And control issues can look like two things. They can look like trying to act all the time and trying to control things all the time, but they can also look like never doing anything. One is trying to control things in our external world so that we control how we feel about them. The other one is just trying to control how we feel. So by never engaging, never getting involved. So there seems to be something about finding a balance within those two, and that's the whole point of whatever this situation is. There's an appropriate time to act within this situation, and there's an appropriate time to just trust. So you're being asked to develop the wisdom to understand when that is. This is kind of, for me, this is like the epitome of wisdom, right? Because what is wisdom? Ultimately, it's not just about knowing things. There's people for days that know things. They're not actually wise. It's understanding how to implement your own energy and how to show up to particular situations, how to see behind certain situations, and how to understand the energy being presented to you, whether you're like understanding it as energy or if you're just looking at it as situational lens. There's something here about that. It's about cultivating your own sense of wisdom. When we are, for example, so afraid to make choices and so then we never act, this is not necessarily something that we would associate with being a wise person. And the same for being someone who acts all the time and just kind of meddles because they're trying to control something because they're so afraid. This isn't something that we associate with a wise person. Someone here, there's been almost this like, you know, help me be wise or help me know things or help me understand. And this is a moment where you're being given the opportunity to grow into that. Okay. Bigger picture thinking is kind of the underlying vibe of that. Yeah. One of the things here, we have the squirrel and chestnut, and the meaning of this card in this deck is preparation, right? Being prepared. I feel for many of you, the reason why this sort of wisdom or this sort of ability to understand the appropriate times to give these energies and to relinquish that sense of needing to be in control is because you are being prepared in some ways to store up some sort of energy bank for your life. What do I mean by that? when we are so busy kind of being shut down that we don't act, there's a lot of energy being lost there. Energy being lost to circumstances, being lost to situation. Because in the flow of life, we're not making choices within that flow. We're just going with the flow. There's nothing wrong with going with the flow, but it's very important to understand when the flow is presenting you with opportunities, right? If we just never make any decisions and we never take any of the opportunities that that flow is trying to present to us, or we're never avoiding the situations that the flow is also throwing our way, right? We're just sabotaging ourselves and allowing ourselves to get into those situations that we don't necessarily have to be in. When we do those things, we're giving our personal power away. When we give our personal power away, we're basically emptying out our vessel of our divine energy. And what happens when we do this is we no longer become effective inside of our lives. And the same holds true when we're inside of that flow. But we're so busy trying to control things that we can't look up and see where that flow is actually trying to take us. Both of these are ways that we have a little bit of a narrow or like a myopic view, right? We haven't seen the bigger picture, and we're not understanding that in the totality of things, you are still a soul, you're still safe, you're going to be okay, right? And you can trust yourself to make yourself okay. Certain things are inevitable, some things cannot be avoided, and your attempt to control them or ignore them and controlling your emotional output, I'll put it that way, doing both of these things, no matter which one, is essentially emptying you of all of your energy. It's a way where we're spinning our wheels, trying to prevent some sort of outcome that might be inevitable. There's a big difference between acceptance and inaction, right? Sometimes acceptance requires inaction. Sometimes acceptance requires us to show up. So showing up is not the same thing as constantly taking action. Life is asking you at all times to engage with it, to dance with it, to partner with it. And whether the outcome in the situation is something that you want or it's undesirable is up to you. Right? These are all based on our perceptions and how we're willing to label things and under what lens of evolution we're choosing to see something. So whoever this message is for, I am noticing that you have some opportunities here that are wrapped up in some thorns, right? Some spiky outsides. But when you can get behind the energy that's actually taking place, there's something very valuable and nourishing that's there. And again, this feels a little bit like prepping someone for something. I don't know how to like lean into that. That's all that I'm getting, is that it's like preparing someone for something. This may go back to the energy that I've been getting on this channel since like last spring, which is that this coming spring is very important in a lot of people's lives. Like it's going to be a launching place for a lot of people to really build their lives. This is very much a spring card for me here. Butterfly and Snowdrop. And this is hope. It's almost like this is a time period where we're emerging. Okay, and that's the energy, is what will you emerge as? Will you emerge as the sort of old version of yourself that was always trying to control things and afraid of things and afraid of maybe yourself? Or are you going to emerge as somebody who understands their own sovereignty and their own, having their sense of their own agency? Because there's some moves that probably have to be made after this time period that are going to be very important for your life. Yeah, we have the Fox and Ivy. Going back to that idea of the flow, it's about adaptability, right? When we're busy trying to control things, we can't be adaptable. There's going to be a need to be adaptable coming up here in 2026 for a lot of people. If you're watching this after this is posted, this might be the following spring from when you watch this, or if you're watching this in the spring, it might be around the time that you are watching it. There's something here that's going to require our adaptability. For many of you, it's also going to require you to control your energy output, who you're giving energy to, what situations you're giving energy to, being able to show up in your life versus being able to kind of take a back seat in your life in the appropriate measures in the appropriate times, action versus inaction in the appropriate times. This is about becoming balanced, right? And understanding how to effectively be in command of your own energy. I think that's the best way that I can put it. Okay. I find it kind of interesting with these two animals. The squirrel's kind of looking over this way, and the fox is kind of looking this way. They're both pointed down, both of their tails are up. So it's almost as though not leading into the future with the past. Right? This is how most people live their lives. Their pasts are still affecting them. And so they project this past onto everything inside of their future, even if it's just a past identity. And there's something here where there has to be some sort of transformation that takes place so that this past identity is left inside of the past, and the future identity that we're bringing forward is a little bit more adaptable. For some of you, the reason why this is going to be important is because of significant connections that are coming into your life. These are significant connections that you've called in with the Six of Cups and the Magician showing up here. Ooh, why won't you lift off this table? Okay, and then we have the Page of Pentacles. I do feel that for some of you, there's going to be a significant connection that starts here. We have the King of Pentacles on the bottom over here. This is something that, you know, the King of Pentacles isn't something that lasts for a season. It's something that lasts for a lifetime. So some of you, I know that a lot of you on this channel have really been trying to call in like friends, or new connections that can inspire and uplift you. And I think that for many of you, this transformation is required to cause that to happen, right? What happens when we're trying to control the outcome or control our energy? We become controlling of others, or we don't show up in a vulnerable way that allows others to connect with us. We may even show up in an energy that's so closed off that people won't even try to like stop and say hi. So this is one of the things that I'm seeing here, is that this is trying to prepare someone for new opportunities that require the cooperation of another person, so or a group of people. So this doesn't have to necessarily be about friendships or romantic relationships. This can even be about work partnerships. This can be about the help of institutions. Maybe you are somebody who in your line of work you require other people to collaborate with you. This is what I'm seeing. This is about interconnection, and the relinquishing of this control allows us to adapt more to healthy interconnection. Interesting. Okay, let's see. Where are we going? Where are we going here? Going over here. Okay. Okay, we have the heart space here. When we have this sort of control, we do have something going on within that heart energy, right? Control is where we have this fear, or we have this worry, or we have this anxiety, and we have the need to cause things to go our way or to keep ourselves safe in some way. And so you are being asked to examine your heart space and how that energy can affect your ability to give and receive love, and how that really is affecting your ability to love yourself. Okay. And then we have a dead end. This energy that someone has been displaying in terms of this control, it's not going to lead you anywhere. When we have the dead end, it's almost like this is not the right path for you, right? This is not the right way for you to go. It's unsustainable. And I'm feeling like this tangled mess, right? It causes tangled messes inside of our life that's very hard for us to navigate. I do think that for some of you, it's almost this feeling of, you know, one thing that you may notice as you go about your life is you may feel like doors and opportunities are always closed off to you. And this can be why, if we're vibrating at the energy of I have to be in control of something, or I have to, like, you know, hold on to myself and not open up or give or take opportunities. So whether it's action or inaction that is out of balance here. When we have that sort of energy, what we're really vibrating is that we're not open to new experiences, right? Everything has to be that finite definition of what an experience should be that we're looking for. And this is definitely going to close doors of opportunity to us. It's going to put us in dead ends, because every situation inside your life, every path you go down is going to require you to get outside of your comfort zones, right? Life isn't meant to always make you feel good. That's just not how this goes. This, you know, we have this, that's a human label, right? This is how I want it to be, and so it makes me feel good. And that's not the point of life. That's just not how energy works. Okay, one more. Okay, and we have the riddle. And so this is there are certain beliefs about how things should be, how things should go, when things are good, when things are bad, when things are right for you, that may need to be untangled, because there's actually a lot of information inside of that belief system. When I get the riddle card, this usually tells me that there are certain ideas that we have that are greatly impacting our life, and if we can just untangle those ideas, we'll find something very special and very meaningful. And once it's 1515 as I looked up, and once we find that special meaningful thing, this is information about ourself that is I always call it like a catalyst seed. It's something that once we see it, it gives us the opportunity to rewire and change so many different ways that we've shown up to our life, that our life afterwards winds up becoming drastically different. I feel that this is directly linked to this butterfly transformation energy and how it flows into this adaptability. This is something that allows us to get out of our own way, get out of our own head, and become a little bit more joyful inside of our life. Okay, and then I'm hearing one more card here. The bottom two, okay, the spider and passion flower. This is creative ingenuity. This is about thinking outside of the box, right? Thinking outside of our comfort zone, having creative inspiration, being able to think of new ways and new actions to take to kind of meet life's problems so that they're not problems anymore. I almost feel that, like I said, I had this energy like we were always going to wind up here, and this is kind of what this card is saying to me. If you look at that spider, it's positioned directly in the middle, and the spider is the one actually weaving the web. So I just, I feel like that's very important, an important concept to grasp in terms of this reading, is that you are always going to wind up here because your own thoughts, your own beliefs, your own actions have led to this moment. And you are also the one that gets to weave the next moment, decide where to go from here. We have the duck and chrysanthemum, and this was the bottom of the deck. It's funny because I'll get readings like this, and sometimes I'll have people in the comments and they'll be like, oh my god, it's such a heavy reading, and I never really hear the heaviness in it, because for me this is a transition, this is like a transformation period, right? And transformation, for some people, they hear it as very heavy because they're scared of change. And if you can get yourself into being of a mindset that change is where the amazing things happen to you. If you're sitting on a couch watching TV every night and you do the same thing every night, nothing amazing can happen to you. Maybe a good show will roll out, right? But that's like the best that you can hope for. Whereas if your life gets shaken up and you're forced off that couch and you're forced to go meet life and engage with it in a new way, that's when the amazing things get to happen. These are new opportunities and new doors for something brand new to enter your life that might be the very best thing that ever happened to you. This is what this card is saying. Whoever's message this is, whatever situation you're going through, it sounds tough. It's a tough situation on the surface. It's something we'd rather not deal with. But underneath all of that, there's something very beautiful that's trying to unfold for you. And it's lucky. Okay, it's lucky. This is one of those situations that, should you decide, because it's always a decision, to learn the lesson in this time, 5 years from now, you'll look back and you'll see how dramatically it's impacted your life, and you'll say, man, I'm lucky. So whoever this message is, I wish you the best of luck in navigating this. I'm going to leave this here. If it resonates with you, hit that like button. Feel free to leave me a comment. And until next time.